What's over there? But they should make more beef.
And
we're back at it with some more reaction videos. So more geography now. Dominican Republic. And we've been a bunch of requests to check this out. And we decided, man, we're going to check this out. The Dominican Republic. So it's kind of in that neighborhood, ain't it?
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I mean, it's down in the Caribbean.
Yeah, so I figured.
It's right around us here.
Yeah, so we finna check it out.
Never heard a Dominican talk, and if you understand and speak English, this is roughly kind of what it's like to be a Spanish speaker listening to a Dominican, and welcome to the DR.
It's time to learn geography now!
Hey everybody, I'm your host Barbie. If you are going to know anything about the Caribbean, you're going to have to know about the DR. This is where so much began and revolutionized the entire Western world. That's a tall order. Now let's start sailing this ship. Christopher Columbus may have arrived in the Bahamas first, but the DR is the place where everything with European colonialism in the Western Hemisphere began. First of all, the country is located in the Greater Antilles Archipelago in the Caribbean region, taking up 2/3 of the island of Hispaniola that it shares with Haiti to the west. Located just southeast of Cuba and east of Jamaica, right across the Mona Passage from Puerto Rico, the country is divided into 31 provinces, and the capital Santo Domingo lies on the south side of the island and acts as a national district. The island owns and operates minor islands and islets off the coast, the largest ones being the Islas Beata, Catalina, and Saona, which has a lot of starfish, all on the south side of the country. Both by area and population, the DR is the second largest country in the Caribbean and is the most frequently visited of all the Caribbean countries. Yeah, sorry, step up your game, guys. Calypso and Carnival aren't enough now. Now, before Columbus came, the island was inhabited primarily by Taino peoples that were divided into 5 chiefdoms or cacicascos. They were Marien, Mawa, Mawana, Harawa, and Hiwe. To this day, the DR occupies land that historically belonged to all the chiefdoms, while Haiti only inhabits parts of Marien and Harawa. Now let's rewind a little bit and go back to Santo Domingo, shall we? Santo Domingo in itself is paramount to the identity of the DR, let alone the Western world. This is the site where so many things started. Founded by Christopher Columbus's brother, Bartholomew, Santo Domingo was the very first permanent European settlement in the Americas. Yeah, nice try, Vinland. A for effort. The very first hospital, cathedral, monastery, university, sewer system, fortress, and even castle were all constructed here. Santo Domingo also claims to be the final resting place of Christopher Columbus's body. However, the Spanish kind of disagree. It kind of goes like this.
Okay, Dominican Republic, Christopher Columbus died and he said he wanted to be buried in Santo Domingo, so we're sending the body over to you.
Thanks!
Oh, actually, as it turns out, you don't have the body anymore.
What? Yes, I do. It's right here.
Yeah, actually, after the whole thing with France happened, we moved to Cuba, but then the whole Spanish-American War thing happened, so we just brought it back to Seville.
Yeah, we're pretty sure we gave you the wrong body. The one we have even has severe arthritis, just like Columbus had before he died.
Yeah, but we did a DNA test on the corpse, and the results were close to his brother's.
Liars! Now, there's a reason why this is the most visited country in the Caribbean, and part of the reason has to do with all the natural treasures that the land has to offer. Transition. The Dominican Republic knows how to make you feel like you got the full Caribbean experience when it comes to land makeup. First of all, the country is dominated by 4 main mountain chains, the 2 Cordillera ranges, the Septentrional and the Central, and the 2 Sierras, the Sierra de Neiva and the Sierra de Baruco in the south. The Cordillera Central is the tallest of all the chains and at over 3,000 meters high contains the tallest peak in the entire Caribbean, Pico Duarte. Funny enough, the DR also has the lowest point in the Caribbean as well, Lake Enriquillo, a hypersaline lake located between the 2 Sierras and is actually a semi-arid zone where cacti can be found. Between the 2 Cordillera ranges, you can find the Cibao Valley, the most fertile area in the DR where most of the farms and crop fields can be found. Head a little east and you reach the Costanza, the coldest area in the DR where sometimes it can even snow in the winter. Otherwise, there are too many amazing nature spots to go over in depth, so I'm just going to briefly list some of the ones that you guys, the Dominican geography, suggested to us. The Los Tres Ojos Caves, Dunas de Bani, Bahia de las Aguias Beaches, Los Aitices National Park, the Tamahacua Cascades, the Jarabacoa and Punta Cana beaches because logic, the Cueva de las Maravillas, and that's about it.
You forgot about the Samana area where you can see whales and stuff.
Oh yeah, in the Samana area where you can find whales and stuff. Food is easily grown here as 80% of the land is suitable for agriculture, which alone employs about 70% of the workforce. However, exports are higher in textiles and plastic goods. Manufacturing and mining has actually taken a huge boost in the past few decades. In general, the DR may be bustling and hustling, but they still generally keep things green. I mean, if you look at the border with Haiti, you can see the stark contrast in who maintains their side better. DR, you guys have come so far. Let's talk more about who you are. Now, this is the part of the video where things are going to get a little touchy. The reason being because when it comes to their population, the DR kind of plays by their own rules and we just kind of have to understand it. First of all, the country is made up of about 10 million people and was the first place to import Africans as slaves to the New World. Now, this is where we have to kind of address the ever slightly tense subject of identity. Due to so many prominent Dominican figures that take the spotlight, the stereotype for the DR is that everyone is black, and yes, it is true that the majority of the population has some kind of African ancestry in their heritage. However, it's not that simple. In the US and many parts of the Western world, we tend to live by the one-drop rule, in which if you got even a little bit of black in you, girl, boy, brother, sister, you black. But in the DR, if you have a little bit of black in you, hermanos, ustedes son indios. Kind of like how we mentioned in the Brazil video, so many people in the DR are mixed that they kind of created a whole new race for themselves called Indio, which categorizes a whole spectrum of skin color gradations. That being said, the country is about 73% mixed, 16% white, and the rest identify as straight up black with a small community of Asians and indigenous inhabitants. Many Dominicans are shocked when they come to the US and are labeled as black since they aren't called such a title in their country. Nonetheless, they embrace their mixed heritage and prefer not to be labeled fully under just one side. Culture-wise, Dominicans are known by many other Latinos to be some of the fastest talkers in the Latin world, almost on par with Chile. Also, they have an entire reservoir of distinct Dominican slang and idioms, such as que mi, juntadera, pila, jevo, or jeva. Then you have like real descriptive words and phrases like lambón, palomo, tigre, serrucho. And like Venezuela, they also use the word vaina, which could literally mean anything. You can use it in a sentence as a filler. Otherwise, the typical cultural traits that everybody knows about are kind of engraved in societies, such as merengue and bachata being the national dances. Even if you're a paraplegic in the DR, you will know merengue and bachata. It's in their blood. Baseball is, of course, the most popular sport, and it's said that it was brought over in the 19th century from American merchant marines and has since then become just as much of a national pastime. Dominican baseball players are highly sought after when it comes to drafting season in the US MLB. Of course, as I say this, Puerto Rico is just kind of standing there rolling his eyes. Let's explain why. The DR is without a doubt one of the top dogs in the Caribbean. Therefore, they got a lot on their plate when it comes to diplomacy. Now, when it comes to CARICOM, the DR is kind of like Gandalf sitting amongst a Hobbit town hall meeting. Even though you think it would be, the DR is actually not a full member of CARICOM, but rather an observer state. Nonetheless, the DR enjoys sitting on the side, watching and encouraging his little cousins as they dispute fiscal policies and exchange commissions. He's like, good job, little guys, keep up the good work. Then we get to Haiti. Basically, in the quickest way I can put this, after gaining independence from Spain, the DR wanted to join Gran Colombia, but then Haiti was like, nope, and then took over the whole island. Things got really messed up for 22 years, and then the DR fought back. Then Trujillo came along, and yeah. I don't want to say he was like the Hitler of the Caribbean, but you be the judge. Anyway, since then, there's always been a slight civil discourse when it comes to the two countries. Today, many Haitians cross the border illegally to try to find work, and the DR is becoming slightly wary of the process dealing with this issue. Nonetheless, they still do great business and trade with each other. It's just, you know, they kind of have to work together because they kind of share that whole island. The US and Spain have always been close friends. The US is the largest export and import partner, as well as encourager of economic development. Over 100,000 Americans live in the DR, many with dual citizenship, and over 1 million Dominicans can be found in the US, most heavily concentrated in the northeast states like New York and New Jersey, and in Florida. Spain is, once again, kind of seen as like the motherland, and to this day, they still hold close ties. Spain has signed numerous treaties and agreements with them, and each side absolutely loves it when the other side visits their country. When it comes to their very best friends, however, just like we mentioned in the Cuba episode, it would have to be Cuba and the US unincorporated territory island of Puerto Rico, which with all intents and purposes kind of acts like its own country. These three are the Latin trifecta of the Caribbean, the three musketeers. Even when one of them was going through a crazy time, they still held on to each other and pulled through as best friends. Although don't get started on the whole merengue and mofongo thing with Puerto Ricans. Friend or no friend, they will go all out ham on the DR if they claim they are better. In conclusion, the DR is where so much of the New World, and for that matter the entire Western Hemisphere, started to get radically revolutionized. They really are like the godfather of the Caribbean, and once you visit, you'll find a lot of offers you can't refuse. Stay tuned! Actually, East Timor. Remember, we're going by the English names. East Timor! Ooh, it's coming up next.
Yeah, man. Definitely enjoyed that, man.
I love these geography apps.
Yeah, man. They dope.
It was cool to learn more about the DR.
Yeah, it was. I'd definitely like to go visit, man. Yes. And I got some nice beaches. So, yeah, it's kind of crazy because over in America, if you got one drop of black blood, you are considered black.
I know, that is weird.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I do get that, but when you have one drop of black blood, it doesn't mean you look black, and anyone walking down the street is going to be like, yeah, you're black.
I don't know, man. I never understood that.
I understand the theory, but
I think it's racism and shit.
Well,
because
know,
you know,
I don't really see that.
let's just say hypothetical, right? You have a person, me have a kid, right? And then boom, the baby's interracial. Then they have a baby
Eventually,
with a
they're
white
not gonna
person.
look black, so no one's
Yeah,
gonna know.
but
So
they're gonna
how
say
can you
they
they're
are
black?
still black. You know,
Yeah,
it's crazy, man.
get
It's just crazy to
from
think
that, but
about
I'm
that.
saying that people don't really know that. So
Yeah, it's just crazy,
they
man.
can't say that.
But you know, I
anyways.
can see what the Dominican Republican. They just feel like, okay, well,
Well, they embrace that they're mixed.
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
a full,
We don't go about-
most of them
yeah.
are a mixed race of blacks
which
and
which
the
sounds
natives and-
more like normal
Right.
because they are
That's
mixed
what
with a
should
lot
be
of
embraced,
versus like
right.
you just plain black.
I agree.
But definitely enjoyed it, man. This is a good one. We're gonna check out some more. If you want to support our channel, check out the link to our Streamlabs and give us some video suggestions. So the link's gonna be in our description. It's gonna be on our YouTube cards, in screens. Check it out before you leave. Also,
We've started a new vlog channel, so you can come check us out, learn a little bit more about us, where we'll be talking about our everyday life and doing some challenges. So the link will be in our description.
don't forget to subscribe,
And thumbs up,
turn on notifications. It's your man, More B.
and Nicole.
I'm gonna catch you on the next video. Awesome. Peace and love, baby.